We're waiting for Jon. He's in transit, hopefully, to this one. I'm just going to copy the link again so that I can give it to Jon again. And
you're not showing live on Blabbing for Britain, the actual thing.
It's not showing live on the Blabbing for Britain page. Hang on a second.
No, just to double check.
Oh.
Refreshing. Oh, there we go. We're live. Let's just check for sound.
I'll carry on talking so you can check the sound, because if I don't talk, you can't hear me. And do we have
testing? Hang on, I can hear myself twice. Testing.
Right. Okay. And
testing.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. We've lost Jon, but hello, Tish, and hello to everybody else who can find us.
Yeah, it's working.
We are live.
Facebook is working.
Okay, and Facebook is working, so let's go. And
now she hears us. Tish Rosales. Hey, lady.
Yeah, now. So okay, so I'm just about to share this, and it's all happening this morning.
It is, man. It's all happening.
This is the place to be. Right, I'm going to share onto my timeline.
Same here.
Brilliant. Thank you, Fraser.
There we go. Boom. Right.
That's unfortunate. Right, okay.
Blabbing for Britain.
And Jon has found us. Hello, Jon.
Mr.
Hello. I was sitting in the lobby all the time.
Well, no, we went. Okay, there was a delay because we went live. We're chatting for a few moments. I went to share.
Yeah, and I was listening to you, and I watched Fraser join and everything.
Yeah, but I can't. You weren't. I didn't see you in the lobby, and I set off sharing. So I wasn't actually looking at this page. You arrived in the lobby as I left to share it.
No, I saw you all the way through. Never mind.
No, I didn't leave.
That's all that matters, isn't it?
I didn't leave the room. I didn't leave the room. I changed tabs. I couldn't physically see my production screen. I wasn't looking at it.
All right.
Yeah. While I'm on the Facebook page, I can't see two pages at once. Right, okay. This is Blabbing for Britain, and it's been a morning and a half, and Jon and I are joined by Fraser. Welcome, Fraser. Now, where do we go from here? I'm just going to advise Be Live that we have, in fact, now got sound.
What was your topics today, then?
So okay, I'm just going to post this out. Right, okay. Topics. What do you guys talk about? We can talk about anything in the world. Tish, if you've got something you'd like to know, then please ask.
Oh, as I say, the Edinburgh Festival has kicked off in Edinburgh as the first day last night of the Edinburgh Festival. The shows Edinburgh is starting to pick up the buzz. It is the preview week, a few days. So from sort of yesterday, today, Friday, it's tend to be your preview shows. Officially kicks off on Saturday. Or Friday, Saturday, that's your kind of official kickoff. Everything's just preview shows at the moment, so they can get samples. So people can go and try and grab some free tickets because they want to get people in on bums on seats. Because there's over 3,000 shows across Edinburgh and over several hundreds of venues. So it's going to be a busy month of August. It could be a bit of a wet month because the weather is just utterly dreadful at the moment. But yes. But it's certainly been. It's not too bad yesterday. Pretty good. Interesting mixed bag of people kicking around. So hopefully, I will try and source some acts to be interviewed on the Hattrick and Ramsay Unleashed podcast show, also which is broadcast on hardsonglive.co.uk. So you can listen to this on a Monday night. We are going to be changing our show after August to a Friday night because there's lots more news on a Friday than there is during the week, because when it comes to Monday, it's a bit dry, the news, really. Not much goes on. Unless somebody gets killed or blows up a building. But yes, so apart from that, that's the Edinburgh Festival. But I need to plan. It's been a bit crazy. Once the summer dies down, I need to get you to call in, Steve, to our radio show on Hard Song Live, and you can talk about Blabbing for Britain or whatever you want to talk about.
I was going to talk about BeLive.tv this morning, but given our problems in the last 33 minutes, I'll belay that and do that next week. These things, the thing is that these things are sent to trials. Now, John's a bit distracted at the moment, but they are sent to trials. And
John searching for hair dye for my beard.
John is looking at his list.
What, you got your list?
Yeah.
The list of Jonathan.
For once, I came prepared.
All right, okay. Well, the floor is yours, John.
Floor is yours. Do you remember my little live about the roadworks?
I enjoyed that.
Night?
I enjoyed that. And the sound of the jackhammer?
Just shy of 300 views.
Wow.
So you're talking about the roadworks. Oh, actually, I saw your little live with the roadworks. So what was happening with the roadworks?
Oh, they were just roadworks. They ripped the surface up of the outside the house. Coming back tonight to put the new surface down.
Oh, good.
I noticed about roadworks in Britain. Now, when I was in Spain last year, the roadworks in Spain, they tend to just shut off a section of road and they blitz it within a couple of days, literally. Here in the UK, the road will be closed for about 10 weeks, or will be disruptions due to roadworks. We will get there eventually. So we tend to take weeks to blink and fill a road, but it only becomes like patchworks because they just cut corners and they don't do it properly. It's ridiculous in this country.
Well, they've taken a section of road which is between two small islands, and it's 470 metres. And they scraped the surface off the first night and jackhammered round all the ironwork. And at the end of the night, they put some temporary tarmac around the ironwork. And then last night, they came back and they lifted every piece of ironwork and reseated it and put some more temporary tarmac round it. And tonight they come back to actually do the whole road with tarmac. So that's quite interesting. They're doing it between, officially it's 7 and 6 in the 7 in the evening and 6 in the morning. Okay. But the latest they've been here is 12:30 and then they've gone.
Right. So, and what's the sound like from your house?
It's all right. Got the doors and the windows at the front shut. You can barely hear it. So.
Oh, right. Okay. We were thinking about it. We thought, well, that's a hell of a racket.
It's not too bad. The only unfortunate incident is, unfortunately, last night, someone came down the road, even though the end of the road sign says, I live on the corner, and the road that comes down has got road closed at the end and block the entrance in so that you have to go the outside if you like. Someone came down, did a 3-point turn and hit the side of my son's car and then drove off. However, there were 2 witnesses and they did take the registration. So my son will have to sort that out today. Anything exciting happening in Wiltshire?
Not really, no.
No twinning events?
No, there's a once every year, so that's been done and dusted. The plaque's still there on the green, and Kelvin is confirming he can hear us now. That was a bit of quick work by BeLive.tv behind the scenes, and say hello to Lisa, and we've gone truly international as we're being listened to in Jerusalem. So thank you for joining us. This is, I've got all my notes have all gone. They were in show 1, never mind show 2, and on show 3.
See, there is an advantage to writing them on the back of a compliment slip then.
Back of a fag packet then.
Okay, so what's your next topic, John?
Neymar. Is he worth £198 million and £40.3 million a year?
Who's Neymar? Who's Neymar? Sorry.
He's about to become the world's most expensive footballer.
Oh, right.
He's been transferred to Paris Saint-Germain, PSG.
Right.
PSG.
From.
And as John said,
Chelsea.
$98 million.
Where does he play? What club is he playing for?
Barcelona at the moment.
Right.
It's Barcelona, isn't it?
Okay. No, so I've lost track of some football. That's cool. Got you now. So 100 million.
No, 200 million.
198
million pounds. 292 million euros.
That's crazy.
They've got to pay it up front. They can't pay on the drip as most football clubs do. He's got to be paid in one go, and he will get. He will earn £377,000 a week.
That's crazy. That's silly money. Over 200 million for a football player. I think the transfer market's gone just bonkers.
Wait,
do you think this all kicked off when it came to when the Bosman ruling and all that? Everyone just went, and ever since you kind of get your high transfer fees, just gone.
What it is that this is what's called a buyout clause from his in his contract. So they thought of a figure that no one would ever pay, and someone is prepared to pay it, basically.
Wow, that's crazy! Absolutely crazy.
But it's not just about the football player himself. It's about the brand. And basically what they're doing is buying the brand and a way to actually market PSG going forward. So they're hoping, the plan is to actually build the brand and recoup the money. So it's economics as well.
So you think maybe there should be a cap on, there should be a certain cap on the top cap of the value of a player maybe? You think there should be a sort of say, like, you can spend no player will be higher than, say, 50 million or less or whatever, but it's just to help manage, to maybe make it more sensible with finances and football and things.
Well, 198 million is more than the GDP, gross domestic product, of 7 of the world's countries.
Crazy,
there you go. It's an obscene amount of money for a football player.
If he flops, he's not likely to flop. But you know what will happen? He'll play 3 games and be injured and out for 12 months.
Something like that, yeah.
Possibly. It'd be good if some of this money actually went back to Brazil, wouldn't it? That would be good. That would be a good cause. If they donated half the 198 million to charities in Brazil.
Yeah.
But it's not going to happen.
No. So what's next on your list, John?
England's ladies, because I'm afraid Scotland got knocked out by England in the first round of the Ladies World Cup.
Not really. Not the World Cup, is it?
England ladies play Netherlands or Holland, whichever you want to call them, in the semi-final tonight, with the Netherlands having the home advantage.
It's not the World Cup. It's the European Championships, is it? It's not the World Cup, is it?
It's the European Championships, yeah.
Why did I say World Cup? I knew it was the European Championships. It's because I've been reading in the same thing, the prediction that England won't make the World Cup finals. It's on the same page.
All right.
Okay. It's the Southgate's England, not English ladies.
This is. Sorry.
Go on, Stephen. No, you far away.
This is a renaissance of women's sport.
Getting an echo somewhere.
Because our England ladies cricket team have done fantastic recently, and now the football team. So sport is going great guns at the moment. I mean, we've got to wish them well. They're in Enschede tonight, and just a little story. Enschede is a small town in Holland, and if you're on your way to Shuttleworth by train from Amsterdam, it's where you get off one train, to go across the platform and get on another train. So I've been to Enschede several times, and the station's delightful.
the way things are going with women, obviously women's sport, it seems to be growing, and there's your women's cricket teams, football, rugby, blah 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 blah. Just give it time. As the way things seem to be going with the PC brigade and the don't offend us, please, brigade. The women's prize would be transgendered World Cup or something like that. Just as the way things are going, so how the heck are you going to do that?
Which brings us neatly onto American politics.
Oh, that's right. It's Trump. We were talking about this. These transgendered army people just said they're doing minefield testing. It's quicker than an operation.
Nice one, Fraser. This is going live. This is
sorry.
And it's not after the watershed. Anyway, never mind. Back to that. I mean, this is the unilateral declaration by President Trump that transgender people will not be able to serve in the forces, and it's one of those occasions where the American generals turned around and said, "Unless you put that in writing, sir, we're not doing anything." I mean, it's just like when he's flying kites, he's trying to upset people. I get the sense that he's trying genuinely to upset people.
Do you think? I think he...
Well, go on.
I don't know. I mean, end of the day, okay, bottom line, he's never been had any political experience, right? And he's a total businessman down the line. But maybe he's just trying to run it as a business, and obviously it's a whole learning curve. He is learning. Maybe it's one of these things he's doing. He's just using his business head or something. But he's pointing in a sense. But I mean, I think you've got to be. You got to think if you're having a man transing is common. It's more common probably for a man transitioning to a woman, and they're in the opposite way. So if you think about it, if you're that, I mean, where are you going to sleep? Are you going to sleep in the men's quarters or the women's quarters? If you're not quite
the whole reason for doing this, according to the president, was for cost.
Yeah.
And because once you're in the forces, then any operations that you have will be paid for by the Services Healthcare. Now, that has been costed at $8.4 million a year, which is 0.001% of the Armed Forces budget. Any thoughts on this, John?
Well, I've read that they spent 10 times as much on Viagra as they do on transgender operations. So does that put into perspective?
It does. I mean, the whole thing. And then did you hear the immigration policy yesterday? The announcement of a new immigration policy for the USA, which might be a forerunner of the one that we have when we actually leave the EU on March 2019.
If we leave.
Essentially, what you've got is an emulation of the Australian system where it's points-based. And unless you can speak English, unless you have a certain skill set, you can't get in. So what they think will happen is half the immigration numbers will fall by half.
Which I agree with. I think that's a better idea, because at the end of the day, is if you want the amount of people I see in let's say in Edinburgh the other day, a couple of days ago, I was there was one of these local Sainsbury's, the local ones. I went in to say, excuse me, you get the steel wheel balls for scrubbing things in your kitchen, not the steel wheel in the square, but like the shiny ones for scrubbing your pots or whatever. Anyway, I said, do you have any steel wheel? And I said no, and he obviously didn't understand me. Several times I had to explain, and I thought, really? I think if you're going to, I think it is beneficial. If you're going to come here, you need to be able to speak our language, you need to understand our laws, you need to understand what's going on, you need to be able to support yourself, because technically, if we're not just a bank, it's not the Bank of Britain, basically, we're not saying we're not going to fund you, you have to be able to support yourself and have certain levels of qualifications to be here for the sake of that. At least you can get a job and do all these things. If you can't do these, if you don't meet the criteria, sorry, you're not getting in. I think it's a points-based system is a good way of doing it, because it means we get the true professionals coming in, or the people who want to actually succeed, or whether they're going to university and they've got set goals laid out, etc. That would benefit, so that at least when they do get a job or whatever they're doing, they're paying into the economy from what they're doing, and they're saying they're doing, and if they fulfill that, that's great. And they maybe whatever their point system, how it works, they recur points going forward. etc. I think that's the better way. At least they're paying into the economy for everybody else. It means it's like us, our general Joe Boggs taxpayer. We're not paying for the people who are, say, not doing anything.
Well, that's the assumption there is that if you don't speak English, you actually claim benefits. And that's not true, because the vast majority of people who come into this country do, in fact, get a gainful job. I mean, the problem is, and this is the problem that America might create for themselves, what they're saying is that we don't want low-wage people coming in and taking American jobs. Yeah. Now, we know from experience in the UK that when people come in, they don't take English jobs, they take jobs that the English will not do. Yeah. Let's think of the east of England and the farming. I mean, our crops in the east of England will not get picked if it wasn't for Polish and European workers coming over, because nobody will work for the rates that are actually paid. And the United States are saying, right, okay, we don't want any low wages anymore. Okay, we want the wages to go up. So the president's saying, I want the wages to go up. I want everybody to get more than the minimum wage, because they operate that over there. What's going to happen? And this is just me going on a rant, so don't worry about it, Fraser. What's going to happen is that if you you say, right, we can't have any low-paid jobs because we want Americans to take them, we want them to get a living wage, or more than a living wage, then what's going to happen? It's quite simple. American prices go up. American prices go up to the American people. American prices go up to everybody who imports American products. American exports go down, jobs go down. Nobody wins. That's my take. Right, over to you, John.
Well, you mentioned that word benefits.
Yeah.
And there was a story on page 3 of our local daily paper, the Birmingham Mail, yesterday, about how a woman on benefits with 8 children who doesn't work has saved £5 a week for the last 2 years. £5 a week. It doesn't matter, whatever. Anyway, she's saved 500 quid. Yeah.
Yeah.
At the rate of £5 a week, so that's 100 weeks. That's roughly 2 years, isn't it? And she's going to buy a horse.
Okay.
She's considered the cost of stabling it, etc. And it's money that you and I have given her, and I just think it's absolutely bloody disgusting. You know, downright ridiculous that someone with 8 children, single mother, is going to have a horse. Do you think she lives in fantasy land?
Quite possibly. Quite possibly. I've just discovered I forgot to close the previous broadcast. You can be in two broadcasts at once. Fortunately, the second one wasn't going out live. I just forgot to close the tab. Yeah, I mean, I can see where you're going with that, John. And it's the argument: what should benefits be spent on? And we don't have a structure of saying when you're on benefits, you'll buy this, 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 and this.
Well, the same woman ranted a year, about 18 months ago, that she couldn't get a job because she couldn't get any training. So some local organisations stumped up to train her as a mechanic. And no cost to her, and no cost to us either.
Right.
Has she gone out and got a job? No.
Did you take the training?
She's too pretty and she'd be a distraction, so no one will employ her. But loads of people have said that's just rubbish, you know. They've got plenty of female mechanics.
Indeed.
And she's not particularly pretty.
Female mechanic.
So, you know.
I suppose there's quite a lot of euphemisms for that one.
Yeah, indeed. Right, and I can give you some breaking news.
Cool.
Vladimir Klitschko has retired.
I saw that one. Yeah, that was earlier.
Yeah, I saw that earlier today.
Oh, right, okay. You said breaking news. I was hoping to actually give a scoop there.
Yesterday afternoon, the BBC came up with breaking news with a story that was on at 9 o'clock on their front page. So, I'm not quite sure what's happening with breaking news.
It's hard to have breaking news when it's all over the internet within seconds.
Yeah.
Internet first, and the news agencies tend to come close. Well, it does seem a bit wacky these days. Anyway, which what brings us all, because you were talking about radio. Do you listen to the radio, Fraser?
More.
Well, you're on the radio. Never mind listening to it.
I listen to more radio Force 2 rather than Force 1 now, so you get more of the sort of greatest hits, and I get a bit bored of the sort of usual modern day stuff these days because it's turned out rubbish. So I do listen to radio.
I'm a Radio 4 listener.
So Radio 4. I occasionally listen to Radio 2, but I don't listen to Chris Evans. And the news today is that Chris Evans has lost 500,000 listeners.
No surprise there then.
Well, no, indeed. But because a story we ran last week is that he is the highest paid BBC person at £2.3 million a year. Yeah? And he has lost 500,000 listeners between April and June. Well, is so down. Now, the interesting thing is that anybody heard Nick Grimshaw?
From that dull fella from up north.
That's the one. Well, he's gained 350,000 listeners. So it's not that people aren't listening to the radio anymore. It's that they're not listening to Chris Evans. That's just my take on it. I mean, for what it's worth.
But Chris Evans will not earn 2.3 million this year simply because in that particular year he had multiple programs, the most famous of which was a disaster.
Top Gear. Or not Top Gear, no?
It's not Top Gear anymore, is it?
Well,
and
sorry.
I have to say I'm not exactly fond of what's gone on the other what the three have moved to either.
I think that one's great. It's fantastic.
There we are.
It's brilliant. I think it's just what they are. But that's what makes it. It's these guys. It's their natural friendship, bond, fun. Just makes it really funny. I know Fagan, Kelvin's Kelvin, the steam engine, who's on watching. He doesn't. Glory Kings is one of my co-hosts of Hearts on Live, who's up watching us. But I think the show they're on. I can't remember the name of it. What's
Grand Tour.
Grand Tour. That's it. Sorry. I know Fagan's not a
I
fan
don't
of,
like it. Kelvin doesn't like it either.
I'm not a fan of Clarkson, but I do like Grand Tour. It's great. I think it's far better. So it's certainly. I think it's very funny, but it's just. I think Top Gear now is just going. It's just
the only problem I've got is that I've been signed up for a year. I should have done it on a monthly basis, as I could have cancelled. But never mind. At least I get all my parcels from Amazon delivered for free.
Benefits.
Happy days. Anyway, so.
All right. Okay. And let's see if we've got anything else we can swing into the news. This has been yeah.
An Edinburgh topic. Hearts are in Edinburgh, aren't they?
Yes.
Didn't they sack Mr. Cathro this week?
Yeah, they sacked him. Ian Cathro was sacked on Tuesday, probably a little bit before, maybe. But the official was sacked on Tuesday. But I'm guessing he's probably got rid of him on Sunday, Monday, because by that day he was down at Wolves, potentially going to Wolverhampton as in Wolves to be because his
Espirito de Santos.
His mentor was potentially wanted him to get him on the staffing as a coach.
So. Yes, I just think 7 months was not enough to give anybody the chance to turn a football club round.
No, but in the day is
when 2.5 months of it is close season.
Well, but in the day is when he got the job, we were second in the Scottish Premiership. We were second. And in the day is we went from being, and within 38 months, 30 games or something, he only won 8 games. And he's absolutely dreadful. It was just his football style is rubbish. The players that are brought in, total no experience. And in the days, far too great as a coach, but just far too young as a manager. He was only 30, now he's 31. It's just crazy. I think we need, and I think the moment they're not going to gamble on experimental, they're going to get something with experience.
Well, of course, he's unusual in that he's never played football for a living.
Exactly, that's the thing. I think that's the big mistake. If you play football as a living, you're in the game, you see what's going on from the pitch, actually on the pitch, and obviously it helps adapt to when you're coming to be a manager from the side of the pitch, on the sidelines. So I think that's better.
So you think he's going to end up at Wolves, do you?
Possibly. I think he'll be back in football quite quickly as a coach. He's got a good pedigree in the coach side. He's worked with Newcastle and all that, so he's certainly got a lot of pedigree when it comes to that side of things. Management, maybe just, I think if he was going to be a manager, I thought Hearts were just a bit too big a step for him. I believe if he'd done like a smaller a lower division team.
You think he's going to be a great number 2, but he needs to mature before he can become number 1. I mean, he must have done a pretty good job at Newcastle. So
yeah, I think it was just, because he worked with Craig Levein, everyone wants Craig Levein out as well. He's just everyone's becoming a Craig Levein puppet kind of thing, but they just want rid of him because his decisions are not very good. Even though he is a sort of Hearts man, but we don't want him there. But in the day, is Castro would, I think, if he'd managed a lower division team and built up from there, like a third division, and then got them and created his sort of built himself up.
Yeah,
it would have been better coming into a bigger club going forward if he had the proven record. But I think from going from just straight being a coach all the way into management, it was just like silly, especially at that age. I mean, your average man. I mean, okay, you can get some. And Robbie Nielsen was untried, but he succeeded and is now at MK Dons and succeeding very well. So the end of the thing is, I think you're not going to get always untried managers. Are not always going to work. Some will, some won't. At the end of the days, I think experience, getting an experienced person does always help. At least they've got a bit of a track record. We do want to get Paulo Sergio, who was Hearts manager at the time of when we had Vladimir Romanov in charge when the wages and all that weren't getting paid. He wants to come back. He threw his CV in the ring very quickly. He's a fan favourite. I think he'd be great. And I think he knows the club. He knows how things work, and things are under better circumstances now. So,
see, down here, Hearts is not something that ever gets mentioned. You know,
yeah.
The first time I came across Hearts of Midlothian was when Rebus's assistant Siobhan goes to the Hearts of Midlothian match on her season ticket. Other than that, I'd never heard of Hearts before.
Hearts are the big team. Well, the two Hearts. You got the Edinburgh Derby, which is Heart of Midlothian, or Hearts FC, and you got Hibernian FC, which is a Hibs FC. So there's a big team, and Hibs are the wee team of Edinburgh. So. They've now got Edinburgh City. Edinburgh City is in the third division in the lower tier of the Scottish SPL, the Scottish football.
So you actually have 3 teams there.
3 teams now in the Scottish leagues. So it's certainly, it's good. But getting there, Edinburgh.
What about the people the other end of the whatever it is, the Celtic and Rangers?
They've always had that right there. Yeah, I mean Celtic they've just won. They won last night.
1-0 away. So they're now into the Champions League proper.
Yeah, the 1-0 away. So they got the away goal, so they could bring it back to Parkhead. They'll probably win that. They'll be qualified. So we'll get into the group stages.
But they're in the group stages. Yeah.
Yeah, but in the end of the days, I think Kelvin Catch there. But I think. Do you think when it comes to football, do you think that if you're a winner of if you're the champions of your country at the top of the league and you win, why should you have to go? Certain countries have to go through a grueling qualifying rounds just to get into the group stages. Why should you go back to maybe having if it's because we're a smaller nation, it's because of where we are, should we go back to? I mean, I know they kind of they got rid of the Cup Winners' Cup because they joined up that to make it more the Champions League. And you've got the Euro. Maybe they need to sort of somehow, I don't know.
you're saying you feel, and I tend to agree with you, that the champions of Scotland should be treated the same as the champions of England.
Yeah, and vice versa, and anywhere else, really. I think you shouldn't have to go through a grilling.
Even actually, in our case, the top 3 clubs in the UK.
Yeah, it should be treated. I think if you're champions, that's it. You win, you automatically go into the pot of the group stages, and obviously people below you maybe get 2 or 3 places below get an opportunity to go to a qualifying rounds to try and get in as well, or they create maybe they should do like a top. They do the champions league, so they have all the champions of each country in one cup in a group stages, right? But they create another like a second, like almost like a second Champions League kind of group thing in a sense for the runners up, like people came second or third, so they've hit the spot.
Well, we have that.
I know, but go through qualifying, go into groups. And obviously then you work out a way that you maybe do to that. What you could do is similar, that you've got the group stages of the Champions League 1, group stages of the Champions League 2, and what you do, obviously these are the people who have come in the 2 part is the people that have come from who've been second or third in their leagues, basically, okay, and they've qualified to get in. They've got into that. So you have the winners of each groups of 1 and 2 going into the main final pot of the main Champions League to win the actual cup, which might make it a bit more interesting and competitive. Might generate more money as well.
Is that a duster I see on your Edinburgh Dusters t-shirt?
Yes, that is my Edinburgh Dusters t-shirt.
And that was the final glitch of the day.
There we go. Just
booted, the thing froze, and we brought back again. I think the internet is sending us a message. Fraser, thank you for joining us today.
Oh, thank you.
And it's up to John to do what must be a good outro. John, all yours.
Is it 87 today?
I don't know. Did I put 86A? I don't know.
Do we not claim to have had an 87 this week? Well, I'm just going to say the usual. It's goodbye from him, and it's goodbye from him, or him, or even they may be even down there somewhere. So goodbye from all of us. Have a good week. Do something sensible this week, and go live. Don't forget 31 days live.
And enjoy your roadworks. See you later.
Take care. See you all later. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
And Drew, you joined us. Catch the replay.